So Thana, how has it been going for you, man, the past week?
I'm tired. I'm tired.
Yeah, tired. So am I.
I'm tired.
So
I'm
I
tired.
mean, both my wife and I we were attending online church. Yeah, we were struggling to keep our eyes open.
I don't know how the kids do it, because my daughter is doing the like online classes and stuff,
Yeah.
and they're required to do video calls from 8 to 4, no stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah. It's tough, lah. Very, very tough.
Stuff.
Yeah.
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 You know?
I cannot even take a 2-hour meeting with client on video call. Can die one.
Yeah, and the thing is, like,
Yeah,
myself, my job is like always on calls and with all different countries and stuff. But even I don't do calls straight away. I mean, I either do 1 hour break, or let's say 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. But the kids are doing like straight, So I just don't know what's the impact on their brain, how they perceive things, mental skills. And then I wonder, like, after the class, they're like so energetic, they're like so wound up. They want to go and just freak out.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. So we got people who are online. Thank you for joining us on Sunday.
Yeah.
We are keeping to discipline. Every week 4 o'clock we are here.
Yes.
Content. And today it's an interesting topic. It's about Audi. I wouldn't say Audi versus Volkswagen. It's Audi or Volkswagen.
Volkswagen. Yeah. Volkswagen.
And how do you say Audi? Is it Audi or Audi?
No idea.
I think it's Audi. I think it's
Audi.
Like Audi. It's like a German
Audi,
thing.
yeah.
Audi.
Yeah, Audi. Yeah,
Audi.
Not Audi. Audi is very Malaysian.
Malaysian is Audi, and then Volkswagen or VW or Vida.
Yes.
So it's a very interesting topic because they are same but yet not so same. I think it links back to what we spoke last week about engine placement and drivetrains and all that stuff. Definitely very interesting. So we'll kick off, and yeah, it's going to be a fun one. So shall we just start off with the intro, and we'll come back shortly to start off this week. We're back. So Audi or Volkswagen. And how do you say BMW? It's BMW, isn't it? It's not BMW.
BMW.
Yes, BMW.
You've been telling the whole world you've been saying it all wrong all these years. It's BMW.
Yeah.
GTE. Pardon?
It's not GTI.
GTE?
It's not GTI. GTE.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I learned something new today. Why is that?
Yeah.
Is the I pronounced differently in German?
Yeah.
Oh.
So the W is also pronounced differently as a V.
Yeah.
BMW. That's why it's called Volkswagen.
Oh.
Volkswagen.
That makes. I mean, I always thought about the whole wagon, but never the
Wagon.
Vox. The Vox.
Yeah.
So even the V
Vox.
is like Vox. It's like a W, is it? The V is W.
Yes.
Yeah.
W is V.
W is V.
It's a V. Yeah.
But the
Volkswagen.
V. What is V?
Volkswagen.
V is a V. I don't know. I'm not German.
You gotta ask the
I'm a
Germans.
Chinaman.
You gotta ask the Germans about it, mate.
We should get the marketing director to come on board. She's German.
Yeah.
Yeah, Volkswagen.
Yeah.
So I guess this is a question I think a lot of people ask about. What are you buying? And I think today with the Arteon, I'm going to go to Arteon a bit on the show here. It's a very interesting topic because Arteon brings together a lot of elements from both brands, Audi and Volkswagen. Obviously, people will know that the Audi brand is owned by Volkswagen, correct? Audi is owned by Volkswagen in terms of our shareholding. But history-wise, which one is longer? Would you reckon the Audi is older or VW is older?
I think they started off independently. Yeah.
independently, because it's like when they were auto union and
Yes,
so on.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
So as far as history concerned, they are both deep in history. They've got that pedigree with them, but
Mhm.
they began differently, and I think even now they kept that DNA separate.
Yeah.
Mm.
So how would you define Audi and Volkswagen? How is it to you different?
Audi has always been categorized as the more premium brand,
Hmm?
and whereas the Volkswagen is always been more to the people. They've got price ranges from super cheap all the way to where Audi is. Um,
Yep.
Volkswagen always has the uh, Audi always has the latest innovation in anything, in the drivetrain, in the engine, in the management, and Volkswagen always has the previous generation. That's why
Yep.
the Golf R will never get a 2.5-liter engine like the RS3. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and including the current Golf R engine was actually the previous A4 S3 engine. Yeah.
Correct, correct. Yeah,
Yep.
it's almost like, I mean, it's a wrong analogy, but not like Lexus and Toyota. But here
No,
it's not because that's more of a
No, it's
luxury
not.
correct.
Yes.
branch out. But here it's
Yep.
more than luxury. It's more of just that this is where they put their leading technology to the test, and they bring it out. It's sometimes work like the hybrid. People may buy it, may not buy it. But they're
Mm,
always pushing
Yep.
boundaries with Audi.
correct.
Whereas the VW, it's more of a proven, tested technology for the people, for the masses. It works. It just works. I guess that's a way of
Yeah,
describing a
Yep.
VW.
correct.
Yes. Yes.
you
Yes.
know, you know. And
Yeah.
we got people in the house over here. So we got Mark Francis. Hello Audi. Hello Audi
Audi
lah.
lah.
Audi lah.
Volkswagen lah.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
depends which generation, what we're
Correct.
comparing with.
Correct. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and then we've got Jin Shi Cheong. Hey folks, hey guys, how are you? And we
Yeah.
got Kanesan Ramsami. Thank you again for joining us, Kanesan.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good
Oh,
afternoon.
yeah. And in Malaysia, it's interesting because I think the Audi. I'm trying to use the correct term. Audi, not Audi. The Audi brand name isn't well represented. I mean
Yes.
the brand ambassadors from the car manufacturers, and it's not so well presented in Malaysia. Well, the Volkswagen is they're here. They're bringing new parts, new products. We spoke to Eric Winter during the media briefing the other day. He was talking about how they're focusing on a lot of new offering to the market. They are making the offering in Malaysia more premium. I think the
Yep.
Arteon was a good start to that process, because I think like in India, for example, India Audi is obviously it's a big thing in India. People love
Mhm.
Audi in India,
Yep.
but for them VW is also pretty much up there. They
Correct.
view it
Yep.
like for like. They don't see the distinction of VW and Audi. In
Mm.
fact, they find that the Volkswagen has got a much more, how do I say, the temperament to withstand Indian conditions. It's there
Yes.
with Volkswagen. they,
Yes.
they they trust more in Volkswagen. And I see that a lot in other markets around the world.
Malaysian market is actually quite different from what you see in traditional UK or German market.
Mm.
Whereas if you were to sell a Golf GTI,
Mm.
they will
Yep.
the premium, the most expensive. You're saying that there is a Passat Highline and the Passat the normal standard one.
Mm.
The mix for Europe will be 70% base model, 30%
Yep.
premium model. In
Mm.
Malaysia is opposite, is 70% premium model, 30% base model. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So if you see a lot of car manufacturers out there, including the compact cars, they will sell the like a Myvi, or a bit more expensive like the Toyota or Honda. 70% are always the base model, and the 30% are the premium, more high luxury line.
Mm.
For the cars like Volkswagen and Audi and BMW,
Mm.
it's the opposite way. when BMW, when BMW launched the 3 Series without the M Sport body kit, nobody bought because everybody wanted the M Sport body kit.
Yeah.
So whereas if you see in Europe or UK, 70% will not take the body kit. 30% will only take the body kit, but Malaysia is different.
Yeah.
So Malaysia, a lot of car manufacturers find that after coming into the market, if they give not a high spec model, car cannot sell. Yeah.
I think it's also to do with the fact that if you're going to buy, let's say, a $300,000 car in Malaysia,
Correct.
you got to pay, let's say, about 4 to 5K a month. And
Mm.
if you can afford to pay that, you're already earning about more to 20K a month. And if you can pay that, then the masses will say like the 300 to 400K or 250 to 300K, like I can afford the 50K difference doesn't make much difference.
Correct.
It's so different, you know. And I'd rather get, if I want to buy a BMW, I want something with that, you know, that oomph, you know, in it, you know,
Yeah.
power, drivetrain.
Yes.
That's why when the Arteon was launched, I can foresee that there'll be a lot of demand for it because the price you pay for the Arteon is like 240. What's the price? 245 or 248,
Just below
right?
248. Just below.
Correct.
248.
Yes, just below 2. Yeah, that
Yes.
will, and it's so highly equipped. So much. You got so many toys in there, and you got so much more power. So the other premium brands will look at it and will feel threatened because I think the closest competitor is the M340i X.
Yes.
Power wise, I mean the spec wise, not price
spec wise. I'm talking about
Spec-wise,
talking about the all-wheel drive, the turbocharged.
Just the all-wheel drive alone, you're like, shit, how do I find a car with all-wheel drive? You got to go really high up in the scale. I mean, we got a comment here from a person, Teng Sen Chu. VW is overpriced in Malaysia. I don't really agree with that statement.
I also don't agree.
Because think about this, the Arteon in Canada or Australia, costs more than a base spec Audi A5.
Correct.
Yes.
Think about it, the Arteon over there costs more than a base spec Audi A5. In Malaysia, Audi A5, my dear friend, will cost you close to 600K because of its CBU and all that stuff. You know, put there.
Yes.
And even if you bought the base spec Audi A5, it's nowhere close with Arteon. Very far away. You know, like, and here you have a car that's 240K, and you got all-wheel drive, you've got the frameless windows, you've got the looks, the power, you've got. I mean, in fact, I think some people are talking about the fact it's more front bias four-wheel drive, but I think that's also something more easy to drive compared to rear bias for all-wheel drive.
Correct.
So I can't wait to drive in. Obviously, I know Ivan, you've driven it. I mean, if you see
has driven it.
if you see the advertisement for VW, the guy going around that where was it? Like a sand dune or some desert you did there? Some secret space. You won't tell us where it is.
If I divulge now, I think when MCO is lifted, everybody is gonna do that. So I'd rather not say that.
So
okay. You know, talking about the price, I think even in the UK, this car is about £40,000, you know. Arteon. I think close to £40,000. So typically, what we will do, we will multiply by 10, right? You know, for UK cars in comparison to us. So this car, I think, you know, it's actually $300 plus $1,000 car.
Correct. It's definitely because how much is the M340i is selling for? M340i 400, right?
I think 400.
400.
I think 400.
Just above 400. 422.
400 a bit.
So even if I mean Volkswagen, they price it at 248, I think it's a bargain, no? Because I've driven it.
How they got the price, I have no idea. I mean, because
bloody bargain.
Even the specs on that car, it's better specs than the one they give in Canada.
Correct.
Canada, I think it's like 8-inch screen. Some stuff here and there. The sound system is like Dynatune or whatever, but it's better spec than what they give overseas market.
Yeah.
So
I think even in Canada, it's $50,000 there.
Yeah,
which is expensive for them also.
Yeah, it is expensive. Yeah, because I think a Golf R is 42,000 Canadian.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think the whole discussion of whether it's a overpriced or whatever, I think it's a very excellent priced vehicle, and the fact that that the tuning potentials there are immense.
Immense.
I mean, as I said, I was looking at the at DNA what we offer. Stage 1 tune is going for 360 horsepower. So 280 becomes 260 at stage 1.
Yeah.
But obviously, under warranty, all that stuff. But yeah, it opens up a lot of opportunities.
It's available,
if I take the Golf R with what Mike did to my Golf R, wow. It was a day to night. I mean, it's a night to day transformation. I easily found another 80 horsepower or so, because it's the torque that actually makes the difference. Wow, just 470 Newton on the wheel. Wow, the car just pulls, man. I tell you.
I want to ask you a question. That the shooting brake version of the Arteon. Is it the same? Is it the same engine, same platform, except it's different?
I don't know. I don't.
Volkswagen
Malaysia. Volkswagen Cars Malaysia just came to me, Ivan. Just need you to do a favor. Can you just drive it? Okay. How fast you want me to drive it? You decide.
Wow,
we want to recreate. We want to recreate the sand dune, the ice driving. Okay.
Okay.
So. Do I have to pay you to drive it, or you have to pay me to drive it? Because I was gonna have so much fun with it.
So we have.
I'm sure you did.
We have, I think from CK80, doubt on VW quality. So,
but this Arteon is really in a class of its own. If you look at the interior materials, even the engine and gearbox and the drivetrain is bulletproof. I
think people forget that the VW is a big company, a big company, and
they got many products.
Across the world. So it's and they've got the Polo, for example, which has suffered some issue with reliability in some cases, and they've got high-end products like the Golf. Golf, I mean, they fine-tune so much that it's really the rate of error issues is minimal. Some cars are made in India, some cars are made in Malaysia or Germany. So there are different quality in it. And if you look at any VW Audi components, you look at the badge, it'll say seat VW Audi. So the components wise, they are the same engine, same engine, same parts. They share a lot in common. If anything, if you rewind back maybe about 20 years or 15 years, the level of mechanics in Malaysia, I think, were not as up to the standard back then for DSG gearboxes and stuff. Today, I tell you, we are so blessed. I think people are fantastic mechanics.
No more issues.
No more issues.
No more issues.
I have a 5 or 6 year old Golf R. I've taken it to the track. I have taken it to the sand place before. Many sand places I've taken it. I've drifted it. I have abused it. So far, I don't have to do anything besides the normal maintenance like water pump change, the water coolant reservoir change. That's it. Nothing. I didn't even change the air intake system. When and the exhaust is all standard. When Mike tuned it, he said if you can tune change the intake and the exhaust, you can get another 10 horsepower. I said I think it's enough. I think the car is too fast now. Yeah.
Nothing is too fast for you, Ivan.
I almost
you can handle it.
I almost feel the power in the Arteon is tuned back because they want to make sure there's enough grip, people control the car. Not because they can't give more. They want to make sure the handling is sufficient for comfortable ride.
I mean, if this is the top of the line model, It needs to have a bit of culture and refinement. Yeah. If you wanted a similar one, you just would have bought the Golf R, which would have cost you 310,000. Okay. Yeah. So 310,000 Golf R, then you have a 248,000 Arteon. Hey, no brainer, man. You know, if you're a family and you want to have fun, you want to use your one car, primary car, then the Arteon makes sense because it gives an alternative to the people who has the option to buy a C class or a BMW. You know.
Yeah, because I think also the C class, the BMW entry level products, they're good products. They are excellent products.
They are excellent.
But they would not give you. They are a good family car for you to go, and it's safe and it's nice, whatever. Whereas this one is a bit more on the edge because it's got the power. It's more of a driver focused car. I think that's where the difference. They are two different products. They are not the same product at all. Not comparable.
Yeah.
Although they compare in that way, but you can't compare at all.
Yeah, if you look, correct. If you look at the Arteon, the interior space is so huge, man. The rear leg room, the boot is like a big, it's so big, like a big cave inside.
And then a lot of leg room, man. The rear. The rear.
And if you guys followed us last week on the transverse and longitudinal engine, you will know why that the Arteon is much more spacious compared to a BMW. Or a Mercedes,
correct.
You know, a lot of it is because of that, the way the engine is placed. Actually, we got Sean Co here. Arteon R. Just add few magic on mic and some bolt-on, and still under 100K can chase all of cars 500K. Let's do this topic. For 500K, obviously you got the M340i. What else can you buy which could potentially, like specs and power wise, could chase up the Arteon R?
Interesting take on this, Sean.
A CLA. E43, you know,
go really high up.
Really high up.
45S.
Mike, what is your highest power output for a Golf R that you have done with the stage 2 mods like intercooler, cold air intake, exhaust?
We never really go and dyno the car, but it gives what we get is mainly the response. More immediate the response. It kicks in faster. So we suspect maybe we get another 10 to 20 horses more, depending on the hardware mods that we put on. But it's more on the response, more immediate the response.
I think I've seen some Singapore Golf Rs that are close to 400.
I think
they're knocking on the 400 horsepower mark.
They're all sub 400 from what I see.
We don't push it that high typically because we want to maintain the drivability and the smoothness.
Correct.
And
but the guys
response. Yes, definitely.
So come back to the discussion about Audi and Volkswagen. So obviously people who do not know, the Audis are predominantly longitudinal engine. The VW is predominantly transverse, correct? I mean, there are some, isn't it? The A3 is transverse.
Yes,
correct?
Because it's based on the Golf platform, A3s.
The A1s, actually, consumers don't bother. I just want a car that suits my budget and the speed that I want. And the Volkswagen has always been taking the leftover, or rather the previous generation of the Audis. That's all. If you wanted more premium, go for the Audi. If you wanted something more sporty or more up to your budget, Volkswagen has got a multitude of cars that will fit your budget. Like who wants to buy a $310,000 Golf? There are some that do it.
Hardcore guys.
Correct.
And mod it, take out all the everything, and make it ready.
I suspect that because looking at it, the Mark 8R, right? The price has gone up, in Europe and all that.
It's going to be more than 310,000,
I think it's going to be 350 at least.
And not all products of VW they will assemble in another location. They're very particular about certain products. Like the Golf Rs are always assembled in Germany, if I'm mistaken. So it's their halo car, so they say. We got Gary Chin here. So Gary Chin has a S5 213. Should he change to Arteon?
Definitely the R line.
Ouch.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I've driven both. I know what S5 2013 feels like. The biggest change is actually on the MQB platform. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So the MQB platform really changes the dynamics of a car. Is how they package it, and yeah. Sorry, Gary.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I think he just bought it. I think he just recently bought also.
Yeah, because he has been stuck at home, right, Gary? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got another one here, S60 or Arteon. No lah. Different product.
Yeah.
Different
They're
altogether.
both different.
Different product.
Very
The
different cars.
S60 I will assume will be the hybrid lah.
Yes,
S60
correct.
hybrid, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's totally different. One is supposed to save fuel, one is supposed to guzzle fuel. So I don't know.
But saying guzzle fuel, the Arteon doesn't, I think, because it's been very efficient.
Depends on how you drive.
VW engine.
Yeah, but depends on how you drive it. Like I drive the Golf R. And after your tuning mic, it just cruises at 230 effortlessly. I told you to keep the 255 or 260 limiter on because the car just pulls all the way to 260, and at 250 or whatever, 200 plus, illegal, not in Malaysia, okay. So I cannot make it to Johor in one tank. I cannot make it to. I reach Ipoh. I need to top up one full tank or almost 3/4 tank. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It all depends on your right foot.
Correct. But if you're talking about S60 hybrid, also, you will deplete the batteries damn fast. Okay, at that kind of speeds. Yeah. It's not a linear graph. It's an exponential graph when you reach those kind of speeds. Even the battery electric vehicles, if they quote that they can reach 600 kilometers range, provided you drive at 90 to 110. But if you're looking at double the speed, you're looking at almost 4 times the amount of battery capacity that you'll be guzzling. Yeah.
Yes. So Gary says S5 guzzles fuel. That's what happens.
Well, the Arteon engine is a more advanced engine than your current S5. Yeah.
Yes.
When you tune the S5 and you tune the Golf R, you will see the drastic difference in terms of power increases. Anyway. Yeah.
Yes. Because both, the power increase, is very similar. One is at 60 horse, the other one is 70 horse.
Correct.
Power.
Yeah.
And then the top also 100 over Newton, both.
Yeah.
So there you go.
to me, I think for a long time, Audi and Volkswagen, Audi always had the better interior. So that's the one thing for
miles ahead.
So it stopped me from getting a VW because I would get a VW like the interior kind of lets me down. The Arteon interior is quite nice, but I think forget about Arteon for a while and you go back. The interior is where Audi always wins. The interior of Audi is just so much more refined.
There's no comparison.
It's just so nice.
Definitely. But once, Thana, when you get your hands on the Arteon, check out the interior. I love the interior.
I'm actually thinking
especially
about
it. At night.
I may actually buy one. You never know.
Yeah, you can change all the ambient lighting colors and all that.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not a fan of those things. I know my friends who buy the Audi and they put the ambient lighting and all that stuff. I hate ambient lighting. I despise ambient lighting. I despise all the screens, And the one thing which they did in Arteon, which got to me was what? I hate. I really, really hate how the Audi has got this center screen that comes out.
Yeah.
The one that flips up, like your A6.
My A6, it flips up. That's fantastic. That's great.
Yes.
But after that model, it's always fixed. It's a fixed screen. I feel like ripping it apart, breaking it, and throwing it away. I just hate that screen because it blocks my view. I just utterly despise it to the max. You have no idea how much I hate that screen. In the Arteon, you know what? It's actually placed below. So I think that is how Audi should be. Audi should stop doing the stupid thing, that screen on top there, it sticks out, gets out. so cheap and
I mean the current
new ones,
the current Audi language, the interior language, the way I look at it, what have they done to it? It's really bad in comparison
Gary,
to
your
previous
S5
cars.
is nice. I can accept that.
Yes.
The newer ones are horrible. I just hate the new Audi screens. It is like, you know how when you got into a BMW, no matter what they say about BMW being boring interior, sorry, Ivan, people, you know, you have a sense that a driver built this car because that little angle of the dashboard towards you, like you feel appreciated. Oh, it's a driver's car. You feel that appreciation, you see. And then you get into Audi today, and you're like, why? Why?
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But again, I think people have different requirements. The same way Mercedes, people say like, why is there so many screens on the Mercedes? Some people love it. Some people love that whole screen. That
I don't like it.
I hate it. I hate it. That's the only reason why I don't buy a Mercedes. That whole big screen. I cannot. I just cannot.
Yeah.
You know?
I still need my instrument binnacle to be my instrument binnacle. I still prefer the
Don't watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even in my BMW, the E92, you know, the MMI screen, I actually close it off it a lot of times. I find it a bit annoying. Yeah.
So we got a question here from Austin. Is Audi A3 just a leather cladded VW Golf? Oh, this is an interesting one. I can't answer the question. What do you think? No.
It is not. It is not. A3 is, even though it's built on the same platform, Audi has, now the difference in Audi and Volkswagen is always been, Audi always spends a bit more time in interior refinement, okay, in terms of the luxury, the interior finishing, the soundproofing, because the Audi customer cannot accept driving a Volkswagen, so the car has to be more premium. You know, same like the CT200H versus a Prius. During that time when the CT200 came out, it was actually based on the Prius, but the interior is so much better. Lexus is one of my clients, and I've seen internally the kind of soundproofing they use between even the Camry and the you know, the ES. Even though it's based on the same car, but the things in the Lexus is so much of better quality. You just cannot compare. Same with the Audi.
I mean, like, if you get even a Passat and let's say a A6 or A5, the buttons may look the same. It looks like this is the same buttons. But the buttons are different. They are different. The way they click, the way they open, the color, the matte finishing is different. I just can't explain it, but someone can analyze it. But I'm telling you, it's different. You always feel like, oh, this is like that. I mean, sorry to say, it feels like a cheaper Audi. You always have to think like, oh, it's a cheaper Audi button is there.
I mean,
before, like, you know,
I mean, if you compare even the MQB cars, you compare a Golf, and then you go and compare A3. You know, the A3 is just have that extra refinement. You know, with the steering, everything. You know, you turn the steering. So it depends whether you are a driver, you know, more driver eccentric, or the other one is just slightly more relaxed. You know, on the A3. More relaxed, more refined. Not so busy when you sit inside the car.
Generally, Audis are more relaxed drives. They're more, I think they're more highway driving machines. They're more comfortable. And that's what it is. So we got Gary say, I still go to Audi because I want to try tuning. Gary does all the tunings. You can do VW, you can do Audi, Mazda, you name it. They do all, Chevys. You know, they do all possible trucks. My Ford truck is there with them. Yes.
No, Gary, I even offered to go to your place to drive the car for you. You know, just waiting for you.
But Gary, your car on the tune is going to be mad. But said that a used S5 213 compared to a brand new Arteon, I mean, from the value point of view, it's really worth it. S5 is really worth the money. You know, it's a bargain for what you get. You know.
400 horsepower from a tune. 500 plus Newton. So there you go.
And we got one guy saying forget the Audi, Volkswagen, just get a Porsche. I mean,
hey, they belong to the same group, right?
Yeah, Volkswagen owns them all.
Yeah, but a Porsche, cheapest Porsche is like 700,000 compared to what you get.
The cheapest Porsche is the what 718.
Boxster.
Yeah, that's about 600,000. 600,
Yeah,
close to.
600,000.
You're knocking at 700,000 because the
Yeah.
cars, when they come equipped, you got the body kit, you got the optional rims, you got the color coded key fob. They all just adds up.
And you get twice the performance in a Golf. If you just
you can sit 4 person. A 718 only can sit 2 person.
Correct.
And if you do a 0 to 100, the Golf probably will beat the Cayman also. So, but it's a different product, like you can't compare.
Yeah, different.
Yeah.
Different
marketplace.
And people complain Lexus is a overpriced Toyota. It's not. I mean, trust me,
it's not. It's not.
So different.
Yeah.
It's one of those products I think you must sit and drive. I mean, I think they must make a policy of by anybody that drives a Lexus must drive for more than half an hour to understand, because it's a car that you can't appreciate over 5 minutes. Because when I got a Lexus, first of all, to test drive, I was like, I mean, hype is there, like, wow, Lexus, like, then like, hey Bobby, how come so chawan? Like nothing. Then the more I drove it, the more I like, wow, this is so nice. The refinement, you talk softly in the Lexus, your heartbeat slows down.
Yes, you're so relaxed and calm in the car.
It's so nice, we got a question about new car buying now from Derek. Derek got new money now to spend. A5S or a new Golf R or a new RS3. Wow, so different pricing.
Yeah, different, man. I think the RS3 you'll be looking at what 500 plus 600. I think the latest one.
Yeah, I actually like the saloon sedan model, the RS3 sedan.
Yes.
Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah.
There's a wagon before, isn't it?
Yeah, most of the importers bring in the wagon. But the sedan model is very rare. It's like trying to find a 4-door M3. Yeah, that's the kind of rarity. Yeah, it looks really good. Basically, it's the A3, but the RS version, the A3. Yeah. So if you look at these three, I think in this, if you look at power, I think the A45 and the RS3 are the top ones. But what is available with the local warranty and stuff, I would think that the Golf R and the A45S. But so then it comes to the price, whether you want to pay an extra 100,000, is it? I don't know. I don't know what prices are the A45. Yeah, but it's about 100,000 more to get the Golf R. Now the main difference is the turbocharger on the A45 is one step bigger. Mike, if you tune A45, the turbo is actually one size bigger compared to the Golf R. So it's a matter of if you want to be, for that kind of price, up to you. But A45 is a good buy. The Golf R is a good buy at that price, and the RS3 is just straddles, I think, about same as the A45. So
it's 430,000, about 430,000, 310,000, and that's what maybe 500,000, I think, right now, the RS3.
Yeah, because the latest one, we haven't seen a lot of Teslas on it yet, but it looks it's really fantastic. From what
but I think the pricing in the UK is about same as the A45S, so it's gonna be around that kind of price.
Be there.
400 plus,
Yeah, but then you get the legendary 5-cylinder Audi engine. Legendary. 20-valve engine.
We got the devil, which convinced him to get one in the first place. Bobby Ang says, "Oh no, Gary is very serious in wanting to change S5 to Arteon." That's him, bro.
Well, different lah. One is a 6-cylinder, one is a 4-cylinder lah. I've driven the Arteon on tarmac, and I've driven it on loose ground, and I don't see I did not feel there was any bad tendencies of the car. There was no massive understeer, you know, like a old Mark 6 Golf R, you know. You don't get there's no lag. It's very smooth delivery of the power, which was tuned to it, you know. It's not supposed to give you explosive power delivery of the power. It was supposed to give it, you know, like meter it out, you know. This is what a civilized, refined person that drives the Arteon is supposed to drive it like. So, but yeah, the beast can be unleashed by Mike lah, you know. That's another thing lah.
Yes.
Definitely can be done. It's like extending the lifespan of the car, you know, like once you got bored of the stock format, and you're like, I want to go more. Okay, we're going to go to a break. Yeah, sorry, Ivan.
4-cylinder is always lighter than the 6-cylinder engine.
Yes.
And less overhang means there's less tendency to understeer, because I think I remember correctly, on the 6-cylinder S5, the engine tends to sit a bit too forward for what I like lah. Yeah.
Overhanging the front, actually, almost.
Correct. So anything overhanging the front tends to make the car understeer a bit more than usual.
Yes.
We're going to go to a break now. This is a commercial from Audi. It's about Audi history. Enjoy this, and we'll come back in 2 minutes.
Vorsprung durch Technik is more than just a phrase to us, more than a statement or a principle. Vorsprung durch Technik is a powerful force within us, an innate ambition. Vorsprung durch Technik is in our genes. In 1934, we invent the mid-mounted engine. It's still the standard in racing today. 3 years later, we take the motorsport world by storm once again, this time using lightweight aluminium in our cars. June 18th, 2006. Audi wins the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans. The first victory ever achieved by a diesel. In the early 80s, Quattro marks the beginning of a new racing era. Over 25 years on, and it's still the number one for unbeatable grip and traction. "62 victories and 79 races. Audi puts the most efficient form of gasoline combustion on the road. FSI technology. 1993, we developed the Audi Space Frame, the most innovative form of lightweight construction. Perfection by Audi. It's the 36,520 stitches in the interior of the A8. It's the acoustic tests, down to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Perfection by Audi. It's the 5 million kilometers of testing before going into series production. It's the 9,621 patents that put us in the lead, And we're still inventing. The inspiration behind our luxury cars, the Hoch Pullman convertible. Audi design, a synonym for style in modern car design. 2/3 of all concepts become reality.
Hey guys.
Yep.
What's interesting is that at the end, you said 2/3 of all concepts and prototypes becomes reality. And that I think goes to what you said earlier, because Audi is always in the cutting technology, they're always in front, and then VW is more of the tested, proven ground, it works, you know. And I think this was probably the best way to kind of summarize the Audi and VW. I guess brotherhood, sibling rivalry.
Both, if you see, motorsport has always been centered around Porsche and Audi, not Volkswagen. So each brand has their own identity. Like Lamborghini doesn't go into Le Mans, you know. Each brand has got its own identity. A8 is actually a Phaeton underneath the skin, which is actually a Bentley. But each of the brands take the same platform and transform it differently compared to what that is suited to their market. So for the Arteon is using basically the previous generation S3 engine, which is tried and proven already many years before Volkswagen inherited the engine in the Golf R and now into the Arteon. So in terms of reliability, it's very reliable. So like I said, my car, we don't find that it is expensive to maintain. It's the same as me maintaining a 2-liter GTI. Okay.
And this is after warranty, because under warranty again 5 years free, 5 years free maintenance.
But even when it was under warranty, I still took it to do oil change, and it's very cheap to maintain the car. You know?
Nothing more than a Golf, I would say.
Nothing more than a Golf.
I always had to buying a Golf. I drove Mike's father-in-law's Golf and the Mark 5, and then I was like, something in me it's like itch I want to scratch to drive a Golf.
Still have that old school thing in that car.
Oh my god! The Golf, for me, the Mark 5 at least, it's just the way. I mean, for what it is back then and how it's put together, it's so nice. It's so nice, so well put together. I mean, even by today's standard, I said, if they sold the Golf today as a new car, I think it's still up there. It's just a beautiful car put together.
Correct. But the Golf has always been engineered to be an all-rounder. Even from the 1.4 TSI engine. You put anybody in there, when you cruise at 110, the interior is very quiet. Inside is super quiet. It rivals cars like from other premium makers. So the qualities of each model is supposed to be appeal to the segment that is targeted for. So when you drive a Golf, you don't really want to drive anything else, because unless you upgrade to an Audi, so the A3 is just takes it another step further when you see the seats, the leather interior.
The biggest, I guess, the people try to hantam VW will be on the gearbox or DSG gearbox. And that's what the main thing they'll always hantam about, But people forget that in a lot of ways that VW and Audi have got the similar gearboxes in some ranges, just like it's just rebranded, isn't it? It's rebranded to be Shiftronic, Multitronic or Shiftronic, and versus. So it's just a way of it. It's a different branding to it, but same gearbox are being used on both the cars.
Correct.
But they got a bad publicity in that that era. I think the early 2000s. Now they're suffering for no.
But now we don't hear much more of it. I have a Jetta and the gearbox hasn't broken down yet. You know, and we abuse it.
I wouldn't call it abuse it. I mean, I had this discussion with somebody. I wouldn't say abuse. Why? I think people don't know how to use a DSG gearbox.
But I don't use it any differently.
Yes, like it.
I'm still on the original clutch, and the car is like 135,000 kilometers. I'm still on the original clutch, and my wife uses it.
Maintenance, proper maintenance, flushing the gearbox oil, you know.
I mean, we don't do anything special to it. At 80,000 kilometers, you have to change gearbox. We just send it to change. That's it.
Special praise, anything? No,
don't know. I haven't even changed the spark plugs. I think it's due for a spark plug change. That's it. I think because it's my wife's car, the air filter is probably changed during the normal servicing, but it's never changed after that. Since after that, it's out of warranty and it's still running.
I think the problem was, the initial DQ200 gearboxes. They didn't know that they will have so much issue in this climate. And then they didn't handle the aftermarket. I mean the after sales service so well. So that killed them.
But that was a worldwide problem also.
Correct. But it was a problem that hit more of the countries where it's humid and hot, right?
Correct.
I think. But anyway, that's behind them, because when I had my Passat also, I also hantam the car every time, no problem at all, actually. That was also with dry clutch.
My daughter has been driving the Polo GTI for 3 years, and then 2 daughters using it like 4 or 5 years. Never had to change the clutch also. They went in for the normal mechatronic warranty recall. Other than that, nothing.
We got a question from Austin Yap over here. DSG versus PDK. Apa kebezaan antara mereka?
Essentially, they're the same, but the PDK is the newer generation. And it's tuned for more horsepower and stuff. And it's quicker. But other than that, basically, essentially, it's the same.
Fundamentally, they're all dual clutch.
They're all dual clutch anyway.
They're all dual clutch. One built for longitudinal and one transverse.
Correct.
That's all.
But the A250 is also a dual clutch. It's also clunky. I have an A250, so it's very clunky also, very slow. It can it doesn't have the kind of response and the kind of instant gear shift that the DSG has. I've driven a lot of dual clutch gearbox, my first preference in any car I want to buy is a dual clutch gearbox, because a dual clutch gearbox is so much nicer to drive than a conventional slush box.
No comparison.
No comparison,
And I think the VAG group got it to a fine art already, with the DSG gearbox. They were the first to introduce it, and they have really refined it.
But Porsche was testing it for the last 10 years before it even debuted in any of their cars. It was used in the Le Mans cars and all their racing cars. It was tried and tested there before 10 years before it came up. I can't remember. I think it was the 959 direct bell during those times.
In the Le Mans.
In the Le Mans. It was.
Wow.
Mike. Question, Mike. You talk about loss of power on transmission. Does the DSG gearbox have lesser loss compared to let's say a ZF gearbox?
Definitely.
Because like even like a Tiguan, for example, for Tiguan, for example, the power on a Tiguan, the way it drives, the way it revs up, it is very lively. I mean, you think
Yeah.
like, it's so lively, you know, like thinking like, how is it possible? It's 1.4. How is it possible? How much power is there? It's amazing. And yeah, I guess you're right. Like it's because lesser loss of power on transmission because it's the whole DSG gearbox thing happening there.
I think from experience, I think it's even more efficient than your manual gearbox.
Serious.
I think it's less than 3% if when we dyno the car. I mean, we also do a lot of dynos.
Power-wise, DSG has more power than the manual, correct? And I think even like fuel efficiency, I think the DSG has got better fuel efficiency than the manual. When on paper, when they advertise,
because of the extra ratios, sometimes, you know.
Yeah, the 7-speed extra ratio, and then also if you put it on eco mode, when you lift off the throttle, the clutch actually decouples. It actually frees the gear, so you can coast longer. Then when you touch the throttle, the clutch comes back in again. So there is actually very little loss.
The wear and tear of the clutch also is much lower compared to a manual in that sense.
Because it's multi-plate clutch. So one clutch is supposed to last 100,000 kilometers, but I've got cars that are running more than 100,000 kilometers and it's still okay on it.
My Golf, I changed it at 160 you know, because that also I just went and changed it you know, that's all.
My Polo GTI 138,000 already and still running fine.
And I remember in the early days of the Scirocco, you know, they entered it in the Nürburgring 24-hour race. You know, that car outlasted all the other cars because of the DSG gearbox and because the drivers, you know, don't make errors in the gear shifts. Because the DSG takes care of it so well.
So you get tired on long roads.
Because if you drive a manual car, it takes time for you to change from first gear to second gear, right? Second gear to third gear to fourth gear. Every gear change is about, we'll say 0.4 seconds to 0.5 seconds. I mean, how fast can you change consistently all the time? DSG takes in 100 milliseconds. 100 milliseconds is constant. So 100 milliseconds to just switch a gear and you are already still accelerating. So you save like 0.3 seconds per gear change. In a race, how many gear changes you go through?
So then the drivers cannot make mistake as well. Don't make mistake.
This is another thing I also was thought about. I mean, is it true security cars tend to be lower quality compared to CBUs? I mean, you've driven both, I guess.
No. I've seen Volkswagen how they work, and parts come from a global sourcing office. You cannot every car made in either Brazil Czechoslovakia in America or it's all from a global source. There is no such thing as besides even the batteries are also the particular brand they want is also locally sourced, but it's the same quality. So I don't see quality being different. What is it to say that a South African worker on the assembly line would be different from a Malaysian worker on the assembly line? Most of the items are already pre-assembled in the car already. You just have to bolt on the doors. You know, there's no such thing as taking the door card, sticking on the electronics, sticking on the whole door comes already pre-assembled from overseas. They just have to peel off the sticker, put the door on the hoist where is special jig that moves the entire door. You just position in the door and you just bolt. You just bolt on the doors. So if engine transmission are all already assembled in the car itself already, you just have to bolt on the fenders and the doors. That's it.
I think a lot of it is like, if you think about most of our CKD experiences has been from cars from 20 years ago. 20 years ago, plants were different. Opposed to plants today. Today the plants comes when they say CKD and CBU, it's more of a tax thing, trying to evade tax, and they're trying to bring the cars as fast as
not evade tax. I would say the evasion
I would say
tax.
I mean, I can say evade, you know, because they try to lower the tax impact for the people. by making sure it comes in a different platform, and it's a win-win thing because why we're also employing, you're not paying taxes, but you're employing people in Malaysia and people.
Correct. They want to see the investment. Yeah.
Correct. So it's a different way of routing that tax money to people being employed, and there's facilities in Malaysia versus paying for the taxes. That's the only difference. Yeah. But in doing so, I noticed that sometimes the CKD models comes with lesser spec. Sometimes. In that case,
that's because of local pricing.
Okay, in some cases, but in like the Arteon, for example, you're getting better than overseas market. In some cases,
I mean,
so it's a different thing altogether. It's just I don't see it's an issue.
Yeah, because I work on the cars, right? And I also bought a Passat myself. The B8. Yeah, and when I check the car, I'm surprised. Everything actually is imported. Everything is imported. And one more thing I noticed, because I got two Golfs at home, right? Mine is a made in Germany one, and my father-in-law's one is made in South Africa. Yeah, and there's absolutely no difference. There's only one difference I felt was the leather quality. The South African one better a bit. Softer a bit. Yeah.
Sometimes
mine,
Correct.
Yeah.
But you know that China is I wouldn't say all car models.
Yeah.
Things are made in China, but a lot of the things are actually sourced in China for every car manufacturer. So I'm not saying that the Volkswagen is or the Audi is or isn't. I'm just saying that I think in terms of the German cars, if they are built in Germany, a lot of things are sourced from that region because it makes sense for them to source from that region. Yeah.
Yes. But I have no issues. I think buying local assembled Volkswagen. They are
in today's world, CKD and CBUs are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And one more thing. Go ahead.
If you go to the factory, you can see already in what sense that they are assembling the car, and you really know that the entire door assembly is already come pre-assembled. The dashboard, everything is already pre-assembled.
Even to put the screw on, the workers have no control over the torque because it's preset how much torque for each of the bolts.
Yes.
Correct. So if you think about it, I mean, if the parts are pre-assembled coming here and they're putting it, even the workers have got no option to screw up. They can't screw up because it goes to the process.
Correct.
So
And one thing, the Volkswagen Audi group, that's ahead of the other manufacturers. Up to today, I still see it. On your roof, right? Outside roof, there's always a roof lining, right? On all your Mercedes, your BMWs, and all that. But if you go and look at a VAG car, right? A Volkswagen or Seat, Skoda, Audi, or Porsche, there is no more that roof lining rubber on your roof.
Correct.
Because
that was
used technology,
Correct. Welding is to hide the welds.
Yes. And they can paint it over, no problem. That technology is fabulous. It started in the 1K, which is the Golf platform, back then in 2003. So that first laser welded car.
The thing is that also one of the things is about Audi is they are always at the forefront of technology.
Yes.
If you look at the people running Audi, the top people, if they are engineers, they are doctors, they are PhD holders. They are in metallurgy, they are in material science, they are in automotive engineering. They are the people that know most about fabrication, material. I mean, they were the first to come up with an all aluminum body. Who thinks of all that? If you look at that, they are one of the few companies that only have the top of their field running that department. So they are purely engineering. So if you buy an Audi, you're always ensured you have the latest technology, the people who design the cars, they are all doctorates. They are basically engineers at heart before they can even ascend to the position of where they are heading their departments. Here we have our cabinets, that don't know come from where.
Wait,
So
wait. Ice one. Okay, I can talk.
What you mean? You mean my kitchen cabinet?
Yeah, your kitchen cabinet.
Oh gosh.
It's a joke. It's a joke. I mean, you're right. I mean,
Anyways, but if I agree with you. Ivan, like even if you look at old Audi, say from 1991, right? Today, if the car never got into an accident, it's parked at the roadside, thrown about, the car haven't rusted, because of the galvanizing technology they put on it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Everything rotted, but the body is still there.
You could see a rusting BMW, but not a
hey.
rusting.
I mean, the 80s one were bad. Once they came to the 90s, not so bad. But Audi was the one that started it first, full galvanized body. And then after that, Volkswagen followed.
Actually, I would love to have Audis. It's just that I cannot afford. Yeah. That's all. I just
sure
cannot
not?
afford. Yeah.
I think Audis are a bit too relaxed. I mean, trust me, it's a bit relaxed drive, it's comfortable.
I love the RS3, RS4s.
Yeah. Actually, it's still my dream, RS4 2.9. That car. That one really something.
Before the MCO happened, Mark got that TTS, right? So I was very close to getting the RS3. I was like, RS3, shall I? Then MCO came, like, screw it, I'm not getting one, stay home, but the RS3 something that actually interests me quite a bit.
RS3 is something, RS3.
I mean, it's a natural step up from driving a Jetta to a RS3, right? It's just a natural progression. That's what I've been trying to tell my wife, lah. That's what I've been trying to tell my wife. Yeah, you have to upgrade to Audi. You cannot be driving a Jetta.
Good progression, lah.
Yeah, good progression. Yeah. I still haven't closed the deal yet, so yeah.
Okay. So we got a question from Mike. Since we're on transmission, how often do you change your CVT oil change?
According to your manufacturer service.
Unless your manufacturer is BMW, you don't listen to them. They say don't change, you must change.
Lifetime.
So in that case, I would change. I actually change them every 30,000 kilometers, regardless of whether it's CVT or not. Yeah.
How many?
30,000. 30,000.
Wow.
One of the main reasons I think a lot of people forget, if you're driving the car in KL a lot, and if you're going back and forth from work, your car is stuck in traffic easily 2 hours a day in KL.
Correct.
So your car is running around there. Yeah, even though you're doing 10,000 KL car.
Hey, your gearbox is still running, no? Your gearbox is still moving, no?
Engine also running, So when you say 15,000 kilometer oil change, I never always change earlier. We just never pull till 15.
My Golf R and all my cars, maximum 7,000 kilometer, I do oil change. And then every third or fourth oil change, I will do gearbox oil change. So roughly about 20 to 25,000 to 30,000, depending on if the car is idle most of the time, I will actually change it faster. If the car is not being used, being used a lot, then I don't change it so often. That's the thing.
Yeah, because moisture collects.
Correct.
Engine.
Yeah. Just because you don't use it doesn't mean it doesn't get oxidized.
Yes. Just like tires, that one is another topic altogether.
Yeah.
A question from Con. How well have DSG improved in the creeping behavior? Hey, Con, I think you should change from BM to a VW. I think Con is now right to buy a VW. I think
Arteon, right? Arteon,
man. Con.
Let's see who in Horizon buys the Arteon first.
I think it's Thana.
Might be. I think so. Most probably.
But the whole issue of creeping, like they say, like shouldn't. Right, if you're in traffic, you should put the neutral and stuff. I think on the older gearboxes, DSG, they said be careful with the gearbox, put to neutral if you're traffic, then engage the D back, and then you creep on. This issue of event there. But you're right. I know people who don't do that at all. They just whack it, they just drive it as normal, and it's fine.
Yeah.
So
actually, when you are idling, it's your clutch is not engaged anyways.
Correct. When you're idling, when you're pressing the brake, okay, the clutch is not engaged. So the gearbox is already moving to neutral for you.
Only when you're moving slowly, it does go engaged.
Yeah. So when you lift off the brakes, then the thing will creep. So I think the Vento 1.2 TSI, I think they solved that creeping. So they put a bit of creeping in because people are used to car creeping. Yeah. So it's not jerky anymore. It engages very smoothly.
I got a question here from.
Or you can come and look for us. We can do a DSG tune for you. We'll solve it as well.
Right. I don't know about this. VW Malaysia says Arteon DSG all change at 130,000 or 108 months. Can trust? I don't know. Is it true?
No, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't.
Yeah. I think it's 80,000 kilometer. If I'm not wrong, 60 to 80,000.
I think it should be 60 lah.
60 to 80,000 because it should follow the Golf R required gearbox oil change, which is 60,000. Correct.
And from my experience changing them out, and if you religiously do it at 60,000 also, the oil condition when it comes out is still very, very good.
Correct.
From my experience, dealing with it.
All my aces, what I do was I actually check the maintenance schedule from Canada, South Africa. I mean, I checked a few markets. And you know what? All markets have different intervals for servicing.
Correct.
Okay?
They do.
But and this is getting a fault on Audi Malaysia. Again, I'm not very happy with them. Just joking. But my point is that the service interval for the gearbox for Audi Malaysia followed what's in Germany. So to me, that was a bit, why is it all to market at different intervals? We have some are more aggressive, like okay, change 60-70, but Malaysia just followed template, copy paste, and they just did Malaysia. So I think you're right. I think although they might say one thing, you as a driver should have a sense of like, I think it's about time to change. You can change before the service due. There's nothing wrong with that, isn't it? It's just totally up to you when you want to service it. It's just it's a guideline, I guess,
Yeah, it's a guideline. Like if you take it to the track and you drive for 2 hours on the track, it's subjected to high temperatures and high heat.
Yeah.
Immediately after that, you have to change the fluids. You're talking about engine oil, you're talking about gearbox oil, you have a rear axle, you have to change that too. Yeah. So remember, Mike, I told you the Golf R, we need to change the rear gearbox, and then you did it for me for the rear axle.
Rear differential.
Rear diff, So this all can be ordered. Yeah. So if normally I just tell them I want that change. You insist on it, they will order it for you, or they will have it and then they will change it for you. Just pay for it. I rather you do that precautionary maintenance than suffer a breakdown. So
because
all my cars, if the maintenance for the water pump is at 100,000, 90,000 before it breaks down, I bring it in. Mike has done some of my cars before. I get the water pump changed, even though it's not leaking or anything. Just get it changed because I don't want to have a breakdown.
I can remember even yours at 90 when you took out. It's just starting to let go lah.
Correct.
Some liquid already. So it's always good to do it slightly earlier. I think, for any servicing.
This I learned from a millionaire who has a few cars. So I say, why you want to change? People's mentality is if it's not broken, I'm not going to change the water pump. But it's going to be, it's time to change it. So I say, just change it. Don't even try to save that money, because if you get breakdown during holidays and the car water pump goes in the middle of highway, you know how inconvenient, or you're rushing to the airport because you have to catch a flight and then the water pump blows halfway there, and then what you gonna do? You know, you miss your flight. The opportunity cost is gonna cost you more than not changing, because eventually you still need to change the water pump, whether you're gonna do it now, you know, or you're gonna do it later. Later, it may involve a tow truck lah. It may involve other misconnections. You know, the opportunity cost is horrible.
Yeah, one is preventive maintenance, one is maintenance.
How do you manage the log? I mean, you got a lot of cars, Ivan, obviously. How do you manage the log of what is what on your log? Is it like a book or calendar you set up to monitor?
No.
Just from memory.
So I see mileage as 90,000 kilometer. Change the spark plugs, change the water pump, change the thermostat, change the O2 sensor. Yeah, O2 sensor. All my cars are changed. Yeah.
Wow.
I changed my E92. We have 4 oxygen sensor. Change. Yeah. 90,000 kilometer. That's most of the time major things happen. So if you want to trace back, I used to have an Inspira too. Before I got all these cars, so I was using it. 90,000 change water pump. Since the water pump is out, change the timing belt. Even though you know, and change all the belts. You can change like the aircon belt all at 60,000, you know, to defray your So but these things need to be changed before they break down. Yeah,
it's very interesting because a lot of times one thing failing will cause something else to fail.
Correct.
You know, like your timing chain on Audi is supposed to be, or it's supposed to be lifetime, but it's never lifetime because sometimes how you drive it gets pulled. So like my AC, for example,
stretch.
It gets stretched to a point that the tension is not enough. You just change it, like, you know. Once you do that, and then if you didn't do that, then my valve will break, It's
correct.
It's a continuous thing, you know. Or if let's say small bits of pieces get into the oil, you know. It's just effect, like,
just
cascades.
Just cascades. Yeah.
Okay,
and also one more thing, I think a lot of people forget, you know. Even when we say 20 years ago, 300 horsepower, and normally aspirated engine, what type of CC your engine has to be?
Yeah, big
Just
CC.
a short 20 years ago. 300 horses. Yeah, you need to be.
Now you can get it in the 2-liter engine.
3.5 to 4-liter engine. To get,
so
you are stressing out the engine a lot, you know, now with your 4-cylinder engine. You force, because it's forced induction. So the stresses in the engine is a lot higher.
My E92, I did the conrod bearing change. So since we're doing the conrod bearing, might as well change the water pump or thermostat or spark plug you know, like the timing belt tensioner, timing chain tensioner change you know, and see you just got to do it, because if not, then you keep on coming back to the workshop and then doing piecemeal.
Like for myself, tomorrow I got to do my DCT transmission oil change also. Filters all, you know, everything got to go.
We got a question from Kanesan. Use A8 or a new Arteon, similar price range. I know the answer but I guess it's a different
different car.
The A is a 4-liter, right? The A is a 4-liter, right?
They got a 3-liter, they got a 4-liter.
Yes.
I've only driven the 4-liter, so I don't know about the 3-liter.
The V8.
The V8.
The 3-liter comes with a supercharged engine, you know, the supercharged S5 engine. But detuned to 280 horse for some reason, you know, 280 or 290 horse.
Smoothness and power delivery. So very difficult because one is top of the spec. That is $1 million. They used to sell for $1 million ringgit, the Audi A8, and then you compare to a 240,000 ringgit car. So I don't know how to answer that. Well,
I mean, if you have intention to drive a boss car, I think the A8 is one of the more beautiful of the three. It's just me being Audi fanboy, you know. But I love the Audi. But if you're buying
one tip, just check how much the rear headlamp will cost if somebody hits into your Arteon compared to a A8 lah.
Exactly. One is under warranty, one is used, and the Audi A8s, like small pieces here and there, can cost a lot. You know.
Yes.
Having owned the X, I know that like my lights, I think original was 15,000 a piece. I think the original lights.
Correct.
Front lights, right? Your front headlamps.
Yeah.
A piece.
The rear lamp on the A8 is all LED, and that's around
dynamic lights.
10,
So
about 10,000 per piece.
As long as you got good insurance, or even if you never accident, reverse the car and accident yourself, totally fine. If you can do that, then totally fine. You know.
Correct.
But it's a nice car. It's a nice car. One of the cars that
and the A8 also runs on the air suspension, so
Also, I think got aluminum panels. Aluminum panels.
All
full aluminum.
So you cannot just ketok. You need to change the entire fender. You get no such thing as ketok aluminum.
Correct. Yes.
The PDR in Malaysia, it costs a lot. Like you better just changing the whole fender.
That's the reason why the A8 cost R1 million last time. Compared to Arteon that cost 250,000. So, irregardless of whatever it is, the parts for a R1 million car will cost you quite a substantial more than what the current generation Arteon will cost you. Just take that into consideration.
But A8 is something lah, A8 is something. Even the first generation, second, third, fourth,
I've got a support for A8.
Well, the Hero lah, the first one, remember
last year MCO. Bobby and I look at one and we're like, hey, Thana, got an S8 for sale. I want to get one. And we want to buy it. And the issue was we can buy it, but couldn't drive it. Something happened with the ground itself, But it's just a beautiful car. Sorry, Ivan.
Just saying that the cost to maintain a R1 million car will cost quite a bit more that's all.
People forget. You see, like if the car worth $1 million back then, you know what? Throughout its lifetime, it's going to cost the same amount of money to maintain the car. It will never depreciate. Car parts will never suddenly drop overnight unless there are some Korean brands which are you got off the shelf parts, whatever. But generally, they always maintain. They are same pricing is there. And people have a hard time to digest car 70k should be cheap. What? No, 70k car back then was 400k. It's still a 400k car to maintain from day one to now.
Yes.
That will never change.
And I think one thing a lot of people forget, Continental versus Japanese, right? Even on a Continental car, which is 20, 30 years old, a lot of mechanical parts you still can buy. But Japanese car, not necessarily you can get it. That's sort of one of the differences.
So we've got a question here, Golf GTI or FK8?
FK8.
FK8R is you're looking at more horsepower 300 horse, 310 compared to the Golf GTI, which is only 220-ish. And one is a manual on the FK8R. I enjoy driving both, actually. I enjoy driving both. If you would ask me to choose, the FK8R will be more involving, but you need to know heel and toe. You need, it requires you to be more driver to be able to exploit and use the car fully. Whereas the Golf GTI is more of a get in, start the engine, and just press the throttle because gearbox, the DSG gearbox just takes care of everything for you. You brake, the gearbox will shift down for you and all that. You don't get that in the FK8R. FK8R also has got more limited numbers, so it's got greater appeal. Malaysia is traditionally a more Japanese-oriented car brand compared to European or German car brands. We are just progressing. It's easier to sell a Japanese car than to sell a European car. You can see in any of our classified, you can see, unless you're talking about purists or enthusiasts. But so it depends on what you want. The FK8R requires you to get involved more. I know you got auto blame and all, but you got to manually shift the gears. You can also miss the gear shift, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just feel that personally, I like cars with duality. Like a Golf, you can get into it and drive comfortably, and when you want to, you can drop gear and you can really wreck it.
Yeah.
And the reality is, not all of us are track going guys who do track every
Correct.
day.
Yeah.
Not all of us are going to go every day to thing, whatever. You can't gonna be dual purpose. So I, as being father and father of three and all that stuff, I like duality cars, and I think that Golf, the duality is there. Or any car with a sport button, you press sport, it suddenly opens up, or you press button for exhaust, opens up. You know, I like those kind of experiences whereby there's a duality to it, or a sleeper car. So yeah, for me, the Golf GTI wins the bet, like, you know.
For me, if I will say day to day, I will drive the Golf GTI, and for the weekend, I will drive the manual FK8R.
Yeah.
Which so that's why I have my other cars. You see, so each car has got its own purpose.
Yeah, very much so, lah. You know, same for me as well.
We're going to take a few more questions and we're going to call it this one. So we got TTS and Golf R. Any major difference between the dynamics?
Yes.
There is
5-cylinder.
No,
TTRS
versus
TTRS is 5-cylinder.
Yeah, this is still TTS.
Yeah.
2.0. Similar engine.
Similar.
The Quattro.
Yes. It's basically the same thing.
Are they the same? The Quattro on the Audi and the.
Yeah,
I think the Audi
as well. It runs on the Haldex as well.
But I think the Audi Haldex is different. It's got the multi-plate clutch. If you have that competition, you know, the one.
I think the one only comes on the RS. I think.
Oh, RS, yeah. That is the game changer. That is the game changer.
Yes.
So TTS or Golf R, I've driven the RS. I think. I can't remember what.
Oh, the RS.
2.5
nice.
RS, right?
Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, the oral sensation of the TT is much better than the oral sensation on the Golf R. Our Golf R is very muted. You know, the TT is bling 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 all the pops and crackles and it's got it feels nice driving the TT. Is you feel there's a sense of occasion because the interior is so much nicer than the Golf, you know. So it's a totally different I think the TT is a better overall experience for me. I
think as a driver, of course, the TTS lah, you know, because the car is lighter, so slightly lighter. Because with the TTS, the front end is actually aluminium in comparison to the Golf R. Golf R is metal at the front, so you know, it's slightly lighter. So it's lighter on its foot.
Audi has worked their magic. You see, is why Audi has worked their magic. Yeah. Correct. So it's a more well engineered product compared to the Golf R.
How much is a used Golf R from 2016? About 4-5 years old car.
I think about 170, 180.
Wow.
Still,
so 180 versus 240K. So a lot of difference, man.
So it depends whether you need the extra seats as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see whether you need the
seats are uncomfortable. On the TTS.
Which one? The TTS?
The rear seats are uncomfortable.
Oh,
rear seats, nobody sits in the rear seats, okay? Nobody sits in the rear seats.
I said it wasn't comfortable.
Oh gosh. My Corrado does better. And that's not good either. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're coming to the end of the show.
Okay, we're going to take one last question and we're going to call it a day. Again, thanks from Ivan for spending time with us and talk to us about Audi and VW. The last question of the day is, for 7-speed DSG dry clutch, is there an interval when I need to change my clutch? My VW Vento is 2017.
Okay. No. Because driven normally, it should last you like what Mike says, 150,000 kilometers. My Polo GTI is also dry clutch. It's got 180 horses, almost 80% more than what your Vento has. And it's got 138,000 kilometers now, and it's still running fine. There's no reason. And mine is 2012, 2013, yeah. And it's 4 years older than your Vento, so I don't see why you need to change. If it doesn't slip, once you know it slips, then you know it's time to change it. Yeah.
And one more thing I remember you telling me, people complain about the gathering, right? So you give it an Italian tune-up and you will solve it.
Yes. So my daughter, when she was 18, she inherited the car to go drive to Taylor's College. Every morning there's jam on LDP. So she crawls. Yeah, creeps. Then I told her, after you get to college, you park. Then on the way back, normally it's not so jam. I need you to just put a few full throttle blasts from standing start.
Nice father lah.
Yeah. So 180 horsepower Polo GTI can accelerate 0 to 100 about 6.9 seconds. I say you don't need to rush for 6.9 seconds. You just make sure in first gear or second gear, when the car is moving off, you just floor. Just give it a good, what Mike says, an Italian tune-up, so that you resurface the uneven wear. And so went through 2 daughters, both have done it, so they're not afraid to use the throttle. They've driven my S2000 VTEC, hit to 9,000 RPM, so they're not afraid to use the power. And this was when they were 16 years old and 18 years old. So so they are used to giving it the beans, full throttle, first, second gear, and then just lift off. Do it a couple of times, every other day or every 3 days or 4 days. You just do it one time, and the clutch has lasted. So basically, every other day, the car has gone through a full bore, full throttle, flat out from standing start.
And if you want to come and see me, okay. I'll give free service for throttling your car if you want.
I know you are quite good at it.
No, so, about the Passat. Did you tune your Passat, by the way? The question about Mike, your Passat, was it tuned?
Mike, you didn't consider it worthwhile tuning your Passat when you had it? Oh, because I got so many more faster cars. So I didn't really bother, because that was my workhorse at that time. I was busy working already, And because by E92, I think after 6 months only I tuned it. That also because after my wife was complaining about how the car drives.
and I think it goes to the question of earlier you mentioned about Ivan, last one. I promise last one. Different car for different occasions. What car you have for different occasions? And I think before this, I'll go to that. It's like the Audi that I had when I had initially, it was nice as it is, but then after a while, you have it like 3-4 years, like something different. So tuning gives you the whole different feel to it. But it's not to say before also was so bad. No, before it was comfortable and smooth in its own way. When VW or Audi makes the car and tuning, the tuning is meant to be more nice to drive. So it's okay, it's comfortable for it's a generic kind of tuning. But after a while, something different, you want more power, you want it, that's why you go for tuning. It's a different feel altogether. Not to say one is bad or worse, it's a different feel. And to that, what is your feel, Ivan, on what car you drive for what car you drive for what occasion?
Okay, so my daily is, because since my kids are away in overseas, I drive my Polo GTI most of the time because I love the way the dual clutch works. And the response, pocket rocket, 180 horsepower in a small, maneuverable. So that's my daily. Occasionally, so weekends, so if we're going through Uluyam, I'll take my S2000, if that's possible. If it's Karak, I'll use my E92 due to the inherent stability at higher speeds. And then if I'm bringing my wife and she wants to go for a drive, and we are going just for a chill drive to a bit fast but chill, going for lunch, so we'll take the E46 Cabrio. She doesn't like the S2000 because she thinks it's too noisy, which yes, it is. So that was used for gymkhana most of the time. If I want to go, let's say she said, let's go to Ipoh for lunch, okay? Then we either take the E46 Cabrio or we will take the E92. Jetta is for her. I'm not supposed to touch her car. I'm not supposed to modify her rims or anything. So she wants it standard, no up in power. I cannot call Mike to go and fettle with it. Yeah. So the Mercedes is actually not being used at all because it's quite a bumpy ride. I don't really like driving the Mercedes. Standard suspension is just horrible. It's like, I don't know what happened to the suspension ride and handling department in Mercedes. Is just Mercedes. So once a while I still have to use it, but I use it mostly in town, to run to buy tapao food, but it's not really ideal for tapao food also because there's no hooks to hang my tapao. I have to open the boot, hang it in the back parcel shelf and close the boot, whereas every other car has got, you can actually detach. You can buy a 5 ringgit hook, the plastic hook there from Daiso or whatever, and just hook it to the headrest or whatever. But the Mercedes cannot even hook it. You can't even put a phone holder. Like, what the? Yes, no, the vents are all circular and are like,
but the styling very nice lah. When they did that, the A-Class.
Okay, guys, we'll come to the end of the show. Again, thank you, Ivan, for spending your Sunday with us. It's been fun, knowledgeable. I've learned a lot, and definitely, I think in the quest of Audi versus Volkswagen, it's not a versus. It's more of preference. What era, what car, And today, I think the Arteon has broken the boundary by. They have also now gone to the premium market with the Arteon. So it's we're in different types nowadays, So it's definitely a premium product. Check it out. I know I will, and it's something to consider. I will as well.
It's really nice to drive. It's really quiet. It's really smooth. The kind of acceleration you expect from an Audi is what you get in an Arteon. I actually love the car.
My wife is here now, looking at me. So I was telling her that we might buy the Arteon. So we'll look at the Arteon and we'll see how it is. Okay, guys.
I know my wife is also listening down there. All right, take care, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.